manager, would you mind clearing the doorway, please?
Where's all the customers tonight?
Must be over in New York looking at those new talking pictures.
Unless you have a kennel with a pedigree log. So get hep with us, right in step with us. Get your little bow wow out and put on the dog. On Park Avenue, it's the thing to rave about your ribbons and your pedigree log. Bring your pup with us and go out with us. Get your little bow wow out and put on the dog. Come on, let's take a bow.
What for?
The manager will think we're good.
Oh.
Two more minutes and I'd have been asleep myself.
Well, now the manager knows we're good. Oh, come on, Airedale. Snap out of that suit before you lose weight.
Gee, they wasn't so tough out there, mate. I hardly worked up a sweat. How were they tonight?
How's the audience?
Well, you might find them a little tough, but gee, they were swell for us.
Hey, Highland, telegram for you. 50 cents collection.
George, play the guy, will you?
Huh? Oh.
Well, what do you know about that?
What does it say?
Next week, Albany and Troy playing jazz singers. Stop. New policy. Stop. Vaudeville out. Stop. You don't go. Max Hart.
We don't go to Albany?
No, George. We're going to spend the next 4 weeks sitting on our home plate. Where are you going?
Go down and catch a midnight show at a jazz singer. I want to see what these talking pictures are all about. I'll see you later at the hotel.
Okay.
Say, May, why do they put stop in a telegram?
Why, that, Never mind, George.
Well, look, when they put it in there, it costs more money.
Mm-hmm. That's why the agent sends it collect.
Hmm? Want some nuts, May?
No, thanks. Don't your teeth ever bother you?
No, why?
Do you realize, George, that you've left a trail of Indian nuts clean across the United States?
Oh.
If you ever committed a crime, they'd go right to you. You thrown them shells under radiators in every $1.50 hotel from here to Seattle. Don't you ever have bad dreams, George, with that on your mind?
No.
Oh, say, George,
What?
you think we're ever going to crash the big time?
Well, we're doing all right, ain't we?
Oh, I'm certainly sick of these layoffs. That automat don't spell home to me.
Well, we don't live there.
Do everything but sleep there. We'd be doing that if we could get beds into them slots.
Now, look, we only laid off 2 weeks the last time.
Yes, well, there've been too many last times. George, dumb as you are, even you ought to be able to get this. The bank book says there's $128 left. $128.
Mm-hmm.
You get that? How long do you think 3 people can live on that?
Oh, well, I'd say about,
Yeah.
Oh, you just blew, May.
Well, George,
What?
don't you ever want to do anything all your life but knock about over the map as a small-time vaudeville actor?
No.
You don't.
No.
Well, I guess that settles that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Better go ahead and take that sweatshirt off before the Board of Health sees you.
Hmm? Oh. Come in.
Well, you're improving your mind. Variety, eh?
So you're going to start talking. I'm trying to read here.
And one of these days you're going to pick up a paper that's written in English and you'll have to send out for an interpreter.
May,
What?
Variety's written in English.
All right, George.
It's got the news of the show world from all the foreign countries, but it's still written in English.
I said, all right, George. I'm sorry I started it.
You want some Indian nuts, May?
No, thanks. Well, I'm glad you like those Indian nuts. You may have to live on them in another week.
Oh, listen, you're going to keep on talking until Jerry gets here? I'm trying to read, May. You know I can't do 2 things at once. I ain't no Napoleon.
Oh, nuts. George, you and Jerry been bunking together for 5 years. Isn't Jerry a swell guy?
Sure been a great friend to me.
I wouldn't tell this to him, George, but I won't ever forget what I owe Jerry Highland. Don't you go telling him either.
I ain't gonna tell him. How much do you owe him?
George, will you please stop eating those things? They're going to your head. Don't mean I owe him any money. But in the 3 years I've worked with him, he's never made me feel we were anything but good friends. Or I had to feel anyways else to keep the job.
No, he never made me feel anything either.
Well, that's just dandy.
Say, you want me to tell you something, May?
I wish you would.
I think Jerry likes you.
Okay, George.
No, I mean he likes you a whole lot.
Yeah, all right, George, you better go on with your reading.
Well, I don't want to read now. I feel more like talking.
Now, George.
Listen, I can tell because Jerry,
George,
the
will you
other
please-
afternoon...
Here. What? Me? I saw history made tonight.
What are you talking about?
The jazz singer.
Well, what of it?
I'm telling you, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, there've been good pictures before, Jerry.
I'm not talking about the pictures. I mean the vitaphone.
The what?
The vitaphone, the talkies.
They talk, May.
Oh, that.
That, you ought to hear him cheering me. Well, it's something so big, I bet even the vitaphone people don't know what they've got yet.
They come out of it, Jerry. What are you getting so head up about? Say, it's no money in your pocket if it is good.
No? Well, listen to me. We're leaving for Los Angeles tomorrow night.
What'd you say?
We're leaving for Los Angeles tomorrow
Are
night.
you out of your mind?
Don't you understand, May? For the next 6 months, they won't know which way to turn. All the old standbys are going to find themselves out in the cold. And somebody with brains and sense enough to use them is going to get into the big dough.
Well, what would we do out there? Act or what?
No. Acting as small potatoes from now on. You can't tell what we'll do. Direct, give orders, tell them how to do things. There's no limit to where we can go.
Say, what do we know about directing?
Good Lord, May. Suppose we do cut loose and go out there. What do we got to lose?
$128.
All right, George. Well, gee, I don't know, Jerry.
Maybe we gotta get out there before this Broadway bunch climbs on the bandwagon. They're panic-stricken out there. They'll fall on the neck of the first guy that seems to know what it's all about. That's why we gotta get out there quick.
Yeah, but give me time to think. Gee. Suppose we don't catch on right away. How are we going to live? You heard what the boy wonder said, $128.
I got 500 more.
Huh?
Where'd you get it?
I sold the act.
You did what?
I sold the act. I took one look at that picture and sold the act outright to Eddie Garvey for 500 cash.
Well, you
Now,
certainly
don't
had...
get sore, man. It was the only thing to do.
Oh, no, I'm not getting sore, Jerry, only I never...
You sold the act to Eddie Garvey?
Think what it'll mean, May, if we win out. No more traveling all over the country, rolling out of trains in the middle of the night. No more automats. No more rotten hotels, living in one place
Well,
instead of...
okay, Jerry, I'm with you. You have some nerve, but count me in.
Good for you. How about you, George?
Huh?
Are you willing to take a chance with us?
Well, if you sold the act...
Sure, I sold the act, but we're going to try this new game. Now, what do you say? It's a chance of a lifetime.
Come on, George.
But he sold the act.
Listen, George, we're giving up the act. We're not going to do the act anymore. Don't you get that?
I know, but he sold the act.
I understand he sold the act. Now, listen, George, there's a new invention called talking pictures. In these pictures, the actors will not only be seen, they will also talk. For the first time in the history of pictures, they will use their voices. I've got an idea.
What?
Well, I think I know what we're going to do out there.
Well?
Now, none of these bozos have ever talked on a stage. They've never spoken lines before.
They gotta learn, that's all.
Well, sure they do, and who's going to teach them? We'll open a school of elocution and voice culture.
Huh? But we don't know anything about it, May.
Well, maybe you don't, but I went to one once, and it's easy.
Maybe you have got hold of something. The School of Elocution, that's not a bad idea.
Say, wait a minute. What is this elocution?
It's a swell idea. And if I know actors, they'll come running. But between you and I and the lamppost here, it's the best idea anybody ever had.
But look. What am I going to do? I don't know anything about elocution.
You don't know anything about anything, George, and if what they say of the movies is true, you'll go far. To help me, Jerry, it'll work like a charm. It's beginning to come back to me already. I remember lesson number 1.
Well, if you're sure we can get away with it, May.
Oh, it's a cinch. Just watch. Come here, George. Say, California, here I come.
Why should I?
No. Don't argue. Say it.
California, here I come.
All right. Now, stomach in, chest out. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's the other way around. No, that's right. Stomach in, chest out. Now, say it again.
California, here I come.
Now, this time with feeling. You're about to start a great adventure. The covered wagon is moving slowly across the plain.
Hardships, mountains,
Desert heat sliding onto a gold.
Hollywood and Jap chauffeurs.
Filled gates in a marble swimming pool.
Come on, George, give it everything. California, here I come.
Yay! It works, Jerry, it works.
If it works on George, it'll work on anybody.
Hey, May, what's a 4-letter word for actor?
Dope. Well, you know, you'll be bald before you're 30. Why don't you take off your hat?
May, don't do that, will you? Keeps my hair in place.
Oh. Say, George,
What?
do those things come without shells on them?
I don't think so. Why?
If they do, I'm going to buy you some of the shelled kind. A few more days of hearing you crack those things, and I'll go bugs.
I didn't know they was bothering you, May.
I was keeping it a secret. Look at the dust. Gee, it's about an inch thick.
Excuse me.
You pretty near out of this desert?
No, we still in it. Pretty dusty, all right.
It is, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty dusty, all right. Yes, ma'am. Dust everywhere. See?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else you want?
No, that's all, thank you. Just want to know if it was dusty.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Well, I'm ever so much obliged.
You're welcome. I guess this is you folks' first time out, ain't it?
How'd you know?
On account of you noticing the dust that way. See, I carries lots of folks out to the moving pictures, and they always notices the dust.
They do, huh?
Yes, ma'am. But coming back, they don't seem to care so much.
Well, did you get that? Coming back, they don't seem to care so much.
Why don't they?
Oh, I mustn't go out there like this. It's aging me. Honest, Jerry, wouldn't you think the railway would have put a couple of rivers in there somewhere? So sick of looking at that desert. Those nuts cracking are beginning to sound like cannons going off.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead. Crack two at a time and see if I care. Going out to the lady smoker. Maybe I'll hear a good, dirty story.
George,
What?
listen, we got to pull May out of this, you understand?
Sure.
We got to keep her spirits up. Things are getting on her nerves.
I wonder what it is.
And I was so thrilled to find out you were on the train, Miss Hobart. I read your column devotedly, every day.
Yes, I know.
I'm just crazy to get into pictures. That's why I'm going to Hollywood. I had the most wonderful course of dramatics in high school.
You did?
Now listen, George, we can't fail. We're pioneers in a new field. The talkies are a thing of the future, and there's going to be no stopping them. Got that?
The legitimate stage had better look to its laurels.
What?
The legitimate stage had better look to its laurels. It's in Variety here.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's the idea.
Here is a medium that combines the wide scope of the motion picture with the higher qualities of the stage proper. See, this is an interview with Mr. Katzenstein.
Yeah, let me see.
Say, what do you think? I just saw somebody I know. Anyhow, I used to know her.
Who is it?
Helen Hobart.
Well, say, I read her stuff.
Sure you do, and a million like you. America's foremost movie critic.
Do you know her?
Well, we used to troop together.
How well do you know her?
Well enough to tell her she was a rotten actress. Ring that bell.
Say, maybe she'll mean something to us. If we can ever get her to sponsor us, we'll have all Hollywood begging to get in. She's a powerful, important lady, and don't you forget it.
I didn't dare stop and say hello to her. The way I feel today, I'd break down and cry if anybody risked me.
There's a woman by the name of Miss Helen Hobart in the next car.
In compartment 3 talking to a young girl. Now, you page her and tell her Miss May Daniels would like to see her.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to the old battleship again, if only to see her strut her stuff. She's the original Iron Horse, all right.
How long is it since you knew her?
Plenty. Now, listen. If you ever let her know we're just a small-time vaudeville team, you're going to get the prettiest freeze-out you ever saw. Unless she thinks you're somebody, she won't even notice you.
Well, let's get together on a story here.
Well, wait a minute. Now, don't you go thinking up no lies about me.
All right. If we could get her interested, her stuff is syndicated all over the country.
Well, it's in 200 newspapers.
No, 202. See, I've just been reading here.
Yeah, it's an awful thought, Jerry. Must be thousands of guys like George reading that stuff every day.
Well, it's good.
Thinking it's good, too. Now, listen. You get your coats on and look prosperous at least. Where is she? Oh, why, Helen. How marvelous.
Oh, my dear. Now, how perfectly lovely. How nice to think of you being on this stage.
Helen, you look marvelous.
Oh, thank you, dear. You haven't changed at all?
Really? Well, I thought living abroad would have changed me somewhat.
What?
Oh, but Helen, let me introduce you to my business manager, Mr. Jerome Highland.
How do you do?
And my technical advisor, Dr. Lewis.
How do you do, Doctor?
Well, now, do sit down, Helen, and let's chat a while.
Thanks, I will. There's some little girl back in my car who discovered I was Helen Hobart. She simply won't let me be. That's why I was so glad to get away. She's been reading my column, and she can't believe that I'm human, just like herself. Thinks I'm some sort of goddess. If you knew how much of that sort of thing I get.
You're doing some sort of newspaper work, aren't you?
My dear, didn't you know?
Don't tell me you're a film star.
Well, I write the most widely syndicated column in the United States. anyone who reads the newspapers. But where on earth have you been, my dear, that you haven't heard about me?
Well, I've been in England for the last 8 years, Helen. That's probably why I didn't know. Oh, but do go on and tell me now. I'm frightfully interested.
Well, if you don't know, my dear, I can't quite tell you all, but I think I can say in all modesty that I'm one of the most important figures in the industry. You know, it was I who gave America Gary Cooper and Rex the Wonder Horse. Yes, I've done very well for myself. But you know, I always could write May, but I never expected to be the Helen Hobart. Oh, but listen to me rattling on. Now tell me what you've been doing and what in the world took you abroad for 8 years. But the last I heard of
yes,
you...
I know. Well, of course, I never expected to stay in the theater. That is, not as an actress. Always thought I was better equipped to teach. Teach? Voice sculpture. I began by taking on a few private pupils, and then when I was abroad, Lady Tree persuaded me to take her on for a bit, and from that I just sort of drifted into opening a school. Oh, and it's been very successful. Of course, I take only the best people. Mr. Highland and Dr. Lewis are both associated with me, as I told you.
And now you're going to open a school in Hollywood.
Hollywood? Why, we hadn't thought of it.
I know we haven't really expected.
Wait till I tell you. Of course, you don't know it, but something is happening at the present moment that is simply going to revolutionize the industry. They've finally perfected talking pictures.
No.
Yes, and you can't imagine what it's going to mean. But here's the point. Every actor and actress in the industry will have to learn to talk, understand? And if we would open the first school, oh, my dear.
Oh, no, Helen, really, we couldn't think of such a thing.
Oh, no, Miss Hobart. Well, yes, that's what we came up...
I simply won't take no for an answer.
Well, what about my school in London?
May, America needs you. You're still, I hope, a loyal America.
Oh, yes,
but then it's settled. I know just the man we'll go to, Herman Glagauer. You know the Glagauer studio.
Oh, well, I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'll send him a wire at the next station and ask for an appointment.
That's a good idea.
Is he important?
My dear, is he important? Well, he's the man who first turned down the Vitaphone.
He did.
So he buys everything now. Of course, you people can't realize, but a school of voice culture, well, I should say that my half interest alone would bring me in. I just don't know how much. Because there's absolutely no limit to where the talkies are going. Just no limit. Tell me, Doctor. Doctor.
Huh?
Just what do you think of this marvelous development in the motion pictures? What is your opinion?
Oh, well, the doctor really hasn't had much time, Helen.
You see, he looks after the scientific end. I think that the legitimate stage had better look to its laurels.
My words exactly. Just what I've been saying in my column.
Here is a medium that combines the wide scope of the motion picture to the higher qualities of the stage proper.
That's very true. May, you've got a great brain here. I do want to talk to you sometime, Doctor. I want to discuss voice and body control with you.
It affords opportunity for greater entertainment than...
Oh, hello, Miss Hobart. You said you were coming back, and I waited.
Yes,
but...
dear, but this is very important. I can't talk to you now.
I only wanted to ask you some more questions.
I understand, but I'm busy, dear.
Wouldn't you like to sit down?
Oh, thank you.
This is little Miss,
Susan Walker.
Susan Walker. That's the little girl I was telling you about.
Are you going to act in the pictures?
I'm going to try to if I can get started. I don't know very much about it.
Well, then you could go to our school.
Oh, yes, of course. Now, run along, dear, and read the book of the month or something. We're very busy.
Oh, but you will let me talk to you later, won't you?
Oh, yes, of course, dear.
Well, goodbye.
Are you in the next car?
No, I'm in number 20 with my mother and father.
She's with her mother and father.
Well, I'd like to take you back. That is, if you want me to.
Yes, you do that, George. That'll be fine.
Oh, thank you very much.
You won't stay long, will you, Doctor? Because I want to hear some more of your ideas. I can see that you've given it thought.
Oh, I'll be back. That is, unless... what's your mother's name, Mrs. Walker?
Uh-huh.
What a man! He must have been enormous in England.
Very big, wasn't he, Jerry?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Mama, this is Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis, this is my mother, Mrs. Walker.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Very pleased to meet you.
And this is my father.
How do you do? Is your name Walker, too?
Dr. Lewis is the head of a big movie school.
Now, anything?
Now, Father, Mr. Walker doesn't like the movies very much.
No.
Yes.
Won't you sit down? We're so glad to know you.
Thank you.
Susan's going to enter the talking pictures.
Well, that's fine. Can she talk?
Pardon?
I said, can she talk?
Of course she can talk.
Well, how do you know?
I listen to her every day.
Would you like to hear me recite?
Gee, I'd love to.
Boot by Rudyard Kipling.
Boo, Susan, not on a train.
Oh. Say, Mr. Walker, do you expect to settle in Hollywood?
No,
Well, it's too bad.
it's straight.
Yeah, that's what I think.
What do you think?
Hollywood, I think it's great. You know, Mr. Walker, the legitimate stage had better look to its laurels. The talking picture combines the wide scope of the motion picture to the finer qualities of the stage proper. Now, here's a medium for entertainment that... would you care for some Indian nuts?
No.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Hobart.
Mr. Gluggo is in, I suppose.
Yes, he's in Kaufman.
I'll go right in.
Miss Layton at this end. Yes? Oh, yes. Yes, he knows that you're waiting. How many days? Well, I'm afraid you'll just have to wait. What? Oh, no, you couldn't possibly see Mr. Glogauer. No, I can't make an appointment for you. Mr. Wyckoff makes all of Mr. Glogauer's appointments. Oh, no, you can't see Mr. Wyckoff. You have to see him through Mr. Meterstein. What? Oh, my, no one ever sees Mr. Meterstein.
Nice place.
Like a fine swimming pool.
Gee, Mr. Glogauer, sure lucky we came out here.
Now, George,
What?
when you're introduced to Mr. Glogauer, you just say hello, see? In a pinch, hello, Mr. Glogauer. Then from that time on, nothing.
Well, supposing I get a good idea.
That's when I sing Aida. Yes? Miss Daniels and Mr. Highland to see Mr. Glogauer. Oh, you couldn't possibly see Mr. Glogauer. He's in Kaufman.
Yes, but we have an appointment.
I have no record of one.
Well, maybe you didn't write it down.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that comes under Section D, Rule 8. I have to refer you to Mr. Weisskopf. Well, all right, let's see him then. Oh, you'll have to wait. Thanks.
Yeah. Mr. Glogauer's in conference.
Looks as if we'd have to wait. Have you got an appointment? Been waiting long?
6 months.
Where's Mr. Gluggo?
He gone.
It's Susan.
Look here, how did they get here?
I invited him over to meet Mr. Glogauer.
Oh, so you invited them.
You think of everything, don't you? Yeah.
Jerry, would there be some way of making them silent as well as dumb?
Oh, hello, Susan.
Hello, Georgie.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, Doctor, it was so nice of you to invite us here today.
Well, good morning.
Hello.
Gee, May, Susan will be great in the talking, the way she recites and everything. She's going to our school, you know.
Yes, if we have one.
I was telling May about those poems you recited. What's that one about the shoes?
No, Boots, by Rudyard Kipling.
I think that's the one.
Jerry.
Come on.
Boots.
Yeah.
Boots.
Yeah.
Moving up and down
Yeah,
again.
that's the one.
7,
That's the one.
11, 9.
May was telling me that she sort of felt that you recited Boots the minute she laid eyes on you.
She knows bring out wild bells, too, don't you, Susan?
Uh-huh. How did you guess? That was one of our very first ones.
That's 5 you owe me.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
There you are. We've been waiting.
So have we.
Hello, Miss Hobart.
Oh, good morning. I can't talk to you now, dear. I'm very busy. Doctor, how delightful. You'll pardon us, please.
Don't go away.
Well, it was marvelous you were able to get us an appointment.
If Mr. Gargoyle says yes to our proposition, we'll have to celebrate.
I think our chances are very good. Herman, Mr. Glargauer, he's scared stiff. He's had so much trouble lately, you know. He's a man who first turned down the vitaphone. Of course, he's never admitted it. No one's ever dared mention it to him.
No, I wouldn't think so. Well, what did he turn it down for?
Well, he just didn't know, Doctor, what it was going to amount to. He didn't have enough vision. We better go on in. Oh, Herman, dear, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but I want you to meet Miss Daniel, Mr. Highland, and the famous Dr. Lewis.
How are you? Hello? What? What kind of a singer? Well, never mind if she's a grand opera singer. Would she look good in tights? What? You don't know? Well, keep on looking.
Well, Mr. Glargoyle, we understand that you're in the midst of quite a revolution out here.
I should say he is.
Is it a revolution? What did they have to go and make picture stock for? Things were going along fine. You couldn't stop making money. Even if you turned out a good picture, you made money.
There's no doubt about it. The entire motion picture is on the verge of a new era. The legitimate stage had better look to it.
All right, George.
Sure, it's colossal. A fella sings a couple of songs of them, and everybody goes crazy.
You can teach your own people to talk. Why not let us take them in hand and give them back to you perfect in the use of the English language?
It's entirely a matter of correct breathing, Mr. Glargauer. Abdominal respiration is the keynote to elocutionary training.
We'll not only teach your people to talk, Mr. Glargauer, but we'll have them talking as well as you do.
Well, I don't ask you for miracles.
Mr. Glargauer, Miss Fontaine and Miss Lee are here.
Tell them to come in.
All right.
They are two of my stars. 7,500 a week they draw down. And in the old days, they were worth it.
How much?
Every time Fontaine undressed in a picture, it was a surefire.
The most beautiful legs in America.
Yeah, but they can't talk. That's just the trouble with them. They are beautiful girls, but unspeakable. Ah.
Oh.
Oh, here we are, girls.
Hello, Hermie.
Hermie?
These are the ladies I was telling you about. Girls, this is Miss Daniels, voice specialist from England.
How'd you do? A voice especialist? What is this idea?
Well, here they are. Now you see what I'm up against.
I'd like to listen to their breathing, if I may, Mr. Glargauer.
You see, it's all a question of breathing.
May I ask if you ladies have ever breathed rhythmically?
What?
Oh, not that I know what.
Well, you see, rhythmic breathing is the basis of all tonal quality. If you're able to breathe rhythmically, then there is every reason to suppose that you'll be able to talk correctly.
That's fact.
Well, what about it? Can you do it?
But, Herman, you cannot ask us to do that.
Hermie!
If you'll permit me, I think I can tell you.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Will you breathe, please? Then...
Well? Well?
Well, Dr. Lewis?
Huh? Oh, yes. Well, have we got something?
Absolutely.
Isn't it wonderful? Can we do it?
Keep still, girls. Have you heard that? We've got something. We ain't leaked yet. Well, what's next? What do they do now?
For the present, they should just keep breathing.
Well, girls, don't go home. Stick around here. I'll tell you how we solve this problem. I'll give you rooms right here on the lot. And as fast as you turn them out, we put them right to work. We've got to work fast, remember?
Right.
Right. If you can teach these people how to talk, it is worth all the money in the world. Hurry up. Hurry. And as soon as you're going to talk, girls, then you'll get ready to sing.
Boots by Rudyard Kipling. Boots. Boots.
What?
Boots. Boots.
I don't know no boots.
Moving up and down again. 7, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today. 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boots. Boots.
Boots, boots, boots. Moving up and down again. There's no charge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5. Boots, boots. Moving up and down again. Men, 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 men. Men who man is watching them. There's no discharge in the war. Try, 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 try. To come to something different.
What's going on in here? Stop.
All of you about 10 minutes ago.
Now, look, George.
What?
Will you please stop monkeying with that class?
Well, I was only trying to find out if they could do boots as good as Susan could.
We'll get along without that. Say, I'm only one lesson ahead of that class myself.
Hey, listen, tell me something. How's Susan doing in her classes?
Oh, great.
Gee, she's a wonderful girl, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's just the kind of a girl I've been looking for. And she says that I am, too.
Why, George, it isn't serious between you two, is it?
No. She says she's not going to get married until she's carved out her career.
Oh, that's all right, then.
You know, she likes me. See, that part of it's all right. But she says, look at Eleanor Duzay. Why, her whole career was nearly ruined by love. Gee, you can't tell. I'm liable to be another D'Annunzio.
She's certainly careful, that girl.
Oh, look at me. You know, the school's going over so well and everything, and, well, tell me, when are you and Jerry going to get married?
Well, you see, Jerry's a pretty busy man these days, George. We've decided to wait.
Oh.
Just the minute there's any news, I'll let you know.
Gee, thanks.
Before you tell me.
Say, May, you know, Jerry's going to be a big man out here. Gee, I bet you're proud, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I'm working on a laurel wreath for Jerry evenings.
Is that so? Say, I won't say a word to him about it. We'll make it a surprise, huh?
Now, look, George, you know that big chair in the corner of your office?
My big brown one.
That's it. Will you go and just sit in that till about February? Oh, say, Jerry,
Oh, hello, man.
where are you going?
I got to see Meterstein.
Yeah. Say, Jerry, come on in a minute. I want to talk to you.
Well, all right. I can only stay a minute, man.
Say, Jerry, are you busy for lunch?
I'm afraid I am, May. Booked up pretty solid for the next 2 days.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of hard finding time for everything.
Isn't it, sir?
This school is a pretty big thing. You don't realize it only with the classes, but the business end keeps a fella tied down.
Why, of course, Jerry, I am. I suppose you're busy tonight.
Yeah, that party up at Jack Young's. Hi, anything special?
Well, we haven't had a little talk in quite a... I kind of expected to see you last night,
Gosh, I'm sorry about that, May, but I knew you'd understand. You got to trot with the right people out here. I'm meeting everybody, May. I was sorry I had to break that date with
Quite
you.
all right about the date, Jerry. I wouldn't bother you, but I think it's kind of important.
Why? What's happened?
Nothing's happened, but Mr. Glogger was supposed to hear those tests of Lee and Fontaine last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, sure.
What about him? We haven't heard anything yet.
Oh, how do you mean? You're not nervous, are you? He just hasn't got around to it, that's all.
Pretty anxious to get him. He kept calling up all afternoon.
Well, he's probably heard him already and buying up stories. That's more like it. Will you stop worrying, May? We haven't got a thing in the world to worry about. We're sitting pretty. Well, see you later. I gotta run.
Yeah? I beg your pardon, but I forget whom you're waiting to see.
I don't wonder.
I beg your pardon?
I'm waiting to see Mr. Glogauer.
Oh, yes. Well, Mr. Glogauer is a number 9.
Yeah, Napoleon just informed me.
What's that?
It isn't important.
Well, have you an appointment with Mr. Glogauer?
Yes, ma'am, direct. Right to
Yes?
Mr. Meterstein, to
Yes?
Mr. Weisskopf, to Mr.
Yes?
Glogauer.
Oh, my. Well, if you'll give me your name, I'll tell Mr. Weisskopf.
My name is Lawrence Vale.
Yes?
I gave it to you yesterday, and the day before that. and the day-
Yes.
I'd like to see Mr. Glogauer.
Well, I'll tell Mr. Weisskopf. Oh, my.
I'll be ever so much obliged.
Miss Layton at this end. Yes?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, wait a minute. I'll give you a piece of news. You see that door across the hall there? The one with the swinging doors?
Yes, sir.
Well, if anybody wants me, I'll be in there on number 3.
Attention 34, please. Yeah. Oh, George? Now what are you doing?
I'm sitting here like you told me, May, on the chair. Huh? I'm eating nuts.
Well, that's fine. You just keep sitting there eating. And if you run out of nuts, let me know and I'll send you some more.
All right, May. Come in.
Hello, Georgie. How do you like my new dress? I don't know, Cup.
Gee, you look marvelous, honey. Goodness, every time I look at you, I just go like that.
Isn't it a wonderful feeling, Georgie? Did I do my reciting good today, Georgie?
Oh, you were wonderful, darling.
But it seems so long. I can hardly wait till I become a big star and get myself pointed out to all the tourists.
Oh, it won't be long. Gee, every time you start to recite, I just close my eyes and look at you. And then my heart goes like that.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Georgie. You can kiss me if you like.
Huh?
I said you can kiss me if you like.
I like. Come on over here.
Well, I like that. If you want to kiss a lady, you come on over here.
Listen, I can't leave this chair. Come on over here. Will you please? Will you please come on over here? Will you please?
Oh, Georgie. Isn't it wonderful, Georgie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Miss Daniels, where's Susan? Help me find her, please. I'd rather get her home at once.
What's the matter?
It's her father.
Oh.
It's terrible. It's terrible. He wants to go back east.
Well, I don't blame him. Maybe she's in George's office. Come on. We'll take a look.
Susan! Excuse me, Doctor. Susan, we got to get back to the apartment at once. Your father's raving. He's throwing things into his grip.
Oh, Mama, why?
He says we've kept him here an extra 3 weeks, that you're a rotten actors and always will be. And these Hollywood restaurants are ruining his digestion.
Well, now, wait a minute. We can't spoil Susan's career just on account of Mr. Walker's bad stomach. Why, she's a marvelous actress, isn't she, May?
Oh, sure. She's got garble licked a dozen ways.
Oh, Miss Daniels, what a ass.
Putting to everything, crocheting, and she's learning the Indian nuts, too. That is something.
Gee, Mrs. Walker, this isn't fair. Why, Susan's just starting her career.
I told him that, but he said she couldn't even spell it.
Well, I'll go along with you. I'll talk to Mr. Walker.
Would you, Doctor?
Certainly. I'll make him let Susan stay.
Would you, Georgie?
Sure, honey. Come on. Why, I never heard of such a thing. Say, he's just trying to ruin your career.
Oh,
Why?
Miss Daniels, Mr. Walker didn't really cast a reflection upon your school when he took Susan out of it. In fact, he said you were doing the most courageous work out here since the earthquake.
Well, thanks. Will you tell Mr. Walker for me that I'm doing the best I can and the Red Cross is helping me?
They do a lot of good, don't they? They're really a wonderful organization. Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Isn't there some disease you get from sitting?
If there is, I've got it.
What do you do about your meals? Haven't sent in?
Hey, what's the record for these chairs? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it was a man named Wentworth. He sat right through Coolidge's administration.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hollywood! Hi. Hollywood. Hollywood. Where the sun shines. The lemon. Hollywood, even the doors won't open. Sit on around here.
Well,
Shut up another peep out of you and I'll bring you. And you women, start packing your grips right now. We're getting out of this orange-flavored, sun-struck, flea-bitten country on the 4:30 train.
But, Mr. Walker, listen.
Listen. I've listened for 5 years and I gave in. I brought him out here. And for 6 weeks I've been listening to that girl groan and grunt and yodel, and she still can't act. But they're not satisfied. They keep talking. What do you want me to do, go crazy?
Well, why don't you go home alone and then they won't have to talk to you?
That's it. I can go home alone and they can't talk to me. Why, I can live at the club and I'll be able to get some sleep and I can eat. And I'll get over this indigestion. Here, Doc, have a cigar. And they can stay out here until they're satisfied and I won't have to listen to that movie talk anymore.
Oh, Dr. Lewis, you saved the night. Oh, Georgie, you're so good to me. Now I can stay and act.
Oh, you shouldn't just plain act, Susan. Oh, don't cry, honey. You should be a big star. I know. We'll do something about it.
What?
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 Oh, I know. I'll go and see Mr. Glogauer for you.
Oh, will you, George?
Say, I'll stay and see him if I have to sit until the studio falls down.
Better take this along.
What's that for?
The calluses.
But I haven't got any. Oh, Mr. Glogauer.
Yes?
Say, it ain't true, Duchess. Say, you remember?
It was an appointment, wasn't it?
That's it, an appointment. I got it through a speculator. Now, listen. Maybe this will help. I work here. I have an office, a room with my name on the door. It's a big room, see? And that long hall where the authors work, the people that write, authors. Look, it's a room with my name in gold letters on the door.
What was the name again, please?
Lawrence Vale.
Oh, you're Lawrence Vale. Oh, I'll tell Mr. Wisecroft.
No. Just let the whole thing drop. Only tell me something. They make talking pictures here, is that right?
A what?
This is a picture studio. They make pictures here, pictures that talk. They do something here, don't they?
I'll tell Mr. Wisecroft.
Now, don't be afraid of me, little girl. I'll not harm you. It's just that I've been in that office, the one with my name on the door, for months and months. And nobody ever noticed me alone in there. And the strain of it got to be too much, and so I came out.
Oh.
Now, I don't expect to see Mr. Glogauer anymore. I just want to go in and wander around. Because tomorrow I'm going home. And I want to be able to tell them there that I saw the maid. And who knows, maybe I'll run into Mr. Glogauer. I'd love to know what Napoleon looks like before I die.
I hope you don't blame me, Herman, dear.
No, Helen, you're all right.
Well... Oh, Helen. Oh, hello, May. Oh, dear me, it's nearly 12, and I'd no idea.
Oh, you're quite a stranger these days.
Yes, the mad face of Hollywood. I've got 2 lunches to go to, Golden Bear cookies and Timkin ball berries.
I saw you talking to Glogauer. I just wondered how you thought everything was going, Helen.
Oh, what? Oh, wonderful. You know, they're translating my column into Spanish. It'll be read way over in Moscow.
Well, that's fine. What I wondered was, have you heard anything about the school lately? How everybody thinks it's going?
Well, of course. You'd know more about that than I would. After all, it's your enterprise, and naturally I'd be the last person.
Oh, then you have heard something, haven't you, Helen? Who from? Glogauer?
Why, of course not. Now, whatever gave you such an idea? Of course, you never can tell about things out here. Sometimes something will just happen to catch on, and then again, well...
Well, thank you, Helen. I'm very grateful.
I don't imagine you've made any plans.
Not yet.
Well, after all, I suppose you've got all of your friends in England. It's only natural.
Yes, all of them.
Yes. Well, I may be coming over in the spring, and if I do, we must get together.
By all means.
Yes. Well, bon voyage.
Oh, Miss Daniels.
Yeah?
We're still breathing in here.
Yeah, well, I'll soon put a stop to that. Say, what's the idea?
I'm just taking the names off.
You mean Daniels, Highland, and Lewis are coming off the doors?
That's right.
They don't waste much time around here, do they?
No. Sometimes people leave their office and go out to lunch. And by the time they get back, it might say barber shop.
We aren't even out to lunch. Say, it doesn't take long to get the names off, does it?
No. On these doors, I never use permanent paint. You'll excuse me, won't you?
No, yes, you've got your work to do. Well, it's been very nice to have met you.
You're welcome.
To the report of the abdominal breathing class.
Jerry, have you got a minute?
I'm afraid I haven't, mate.
Yes, you have. Would you mind leaving us? You don't need to come back.
What's the matter with you, anyway?
Jerry, we're washed up. They're taking our names off the door.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I felt of a chisel.
Well, they can't do that to us.
Jerry, they're doing it. Gee, I had a hunch when I was talking to Helen.
Well, what did she say?
Well, she handed the school right back to us. Why, it seems she had nothing to do with it. That tells the story. Well, we might as well get our things together. Say, don't take it so hard, Jerry. We've been up against it before.
Yeah, but everything was so... Well, I don't know which way to turn, May. It sort of knocked me all of a heap.
Don't let it lick you, Jerry. We'll pull out of it some way. We always have.
Yeah, but not this. Thing like this sort of... Well, what are we going to do?
Hey, what do you say we go out to Hollywood?
Oh.
You know, I hear they're panic-stricken out there.
Oh.
They'll fall on the neck of the first guys that seem to know what it's all about.
I know.
Yes? What is he? A playwright? Lawrenceville? No, I never heard of him. Well, I'll find out if he works here.
Oh, say, Miss...
Oh, doctor.
Pardon me, but is Mr. Glogauer in?
No, I haven't seen him. Oh, doctor, I'm so upset. I've been trying to find a playwright, but there's a crazy man been following me. Oh, doctor, if you only knew the insults I suffer at this desk. The weird people that I meet.
I beg your pardon,
One meets queer people out here.
Sure do. Have you seen Mr. Glogauer?
No, I haven't. You one of the chosen people?
How's that?
Do you work here?
Oh, I thought you meant was why, I'm Dr. Lewis.
Oh, yes. They tell me something. It won't go any further. Have you ever seen Mr. Glogauer?
Well, sure, lots of times.
Is that so? Actually seen him, huh?
Yeah.
I suppose you've been here a good many years.
Oh, no, I've been here 6 weeks.
Only 6 weeks. I wouldn't have thought it possible.
Oh, do you work here?
I'm on the payroll. You see, Doctor, I'm supposed to be a playwright. Probably doesn't mean anything to you, but my name is Lawrence Vale. It doesn't mean anything to you, does it?
No.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, that's what you've been doing here, writing plays.
No, just sitting. I've quit now. You know, I should have thought of a pillow myself.
Well, tell me, what were you supposed to do?
Don't ask me that. I don't know anything about it. I didn't want to come out to this godforsaken country. I have a beautiful apartment in New York and friends. But they hounded me and belabored me and hammered at me till you would have thought that if I didn't get out here by the 15th of October, every camera in Hollywood would stop clicking.
Is that so?
And so I came. In a moment of weakness, I came. That was 6 months ago. I have an office, a secretary. I draw my salary every week, but so far, no one has taken the slightest notice of me. I haven't received an assignment. I haven't met anybody outside of the girl who hands me my check. In short, Dr. Lewis, I haven't done a single thing.
Well, what do you suppose they were so anxious in having you out here for?
Who knows? Why do you suppose they have these pages dressed the way they are, or those signs, or that woman at the desk, or this room, or 1,000 other things?
Don't you like it here?
Dr. Lewis, I think Hollywood and this darling industry of yours is the most awful thing I've ever run into. Everybody behaving in the most fantastic manner. Nobody acting like a human being. Why is that? Do you know?
Huh? No, sir.
There you are. Plenty of good minds have come out here. Why aren't they used? Why must everything be dressed up in this hokum? Waiting in a room like this, having those morons thrust a placard under your nose every minute. Why is that?
I don't know.
But I don't have to stay here, and I'm not going to. I've tried to see Mr. Glogauer. Heaven knows I've tried to see him. But it can't be done. So you can just tell him from me that he can take his contracts and put it where it will do the most good. I'm going home. Thank you very much, Doctor, for listening to me.
You know, there's a lot in what you say, Mr. Vale. I'm even having trouble here myself.
You bet there's a lot in what I say, only somebody ought to tell it to Glogauer.
Oh, say, why don't you make an appointment with Mr. Glogauer and tell him?
Goodbye, Doctor.
What can I do about it now? You know we've got no one else available. What do you want me to do about it? There is no use of going on. Dorothy, that will not do. I will go back to Germany never before I shoot a foot. Do you realize that I brought this woman from New York, took her out of the show, and she's now on a play or pay contract for the next 3 months? Besides, she's got a great legitimate name. Take her out, he said. But I will not have my walk ruined. She will be terrible. She's not the type. The type is a country girl. A girl from the country. Then go and work on her. Why are you a director for? George, that is not a country girl. She's a woman. A woman who has lived. Why, she's known dozens of men and looks it. It is been in the newspapers. Every time they break a door down, they find her. You mean to tell me she positively won't do? Positively. Well, if it's positively, I suppose there is nothing for it. But what am I to do now? Get somebody else. Somebody that looks it.
Mr. Glogauer.
What?
I know somebody.
Somebody? Who is she? What's her name?
Susan Walker. She could play the part perfect.
I never heard of her. What's she done?
She hasn't done anything.
Hasn't done anything. Taking up our time with a girl that hasn't done anything. Do you realize that we've got to have a name? You get it? We've got to have a name.
Why? What that? I say, why do you have to have a name? Why do we have to have a name?
Go away. Go away. I'm spending $300,000 on a picture and he asks me why we've got to have a name. Because Susan Walker as a name wouldn't draw flies. Understand? Not even fly.
But she could play the part.
Well, what about it? Who would come to see her? Why do you argue on such a foolish subject? Everybody knows you must do picture with names. It can be done. You cannot make pictures without names.
Mr. Glagauer, you know, there's something you ought to know.
What?
Well, this darling industry of yours is the most awful thing that I've ever run into. Well, why can't people act like human beings anyhow? Why are you so fantastic? Why do you go out and bring all these people out here and pay them all this money and then don't do anything about it? Thousands of dollars right under your nose. Why is that? Can you tell me why you can't make pictures without having stars playing parts that they don't fit just because they got a good name or something? How about a girl that hasn't got a good name? And how about all these signs in this room and that girl and everything and everything else? Why, it's the most terrible, the most awful. All kinds of people coming out here. Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you do something about a little girl like Miss Walker and give her a chance? Well, she'd be marvelous in the talkies. Why, this whole business is in the hands of incompetence. That's what's the matter. Afraid to give anybody a chance. And you turned the Vitaphone down. Yes, you did. But everybody around here's afraid to tell about it. Why, this whole... Why, you never give it... This whole business in the hands of... You turned the Vitaphone down.
He's right.
Huh?
He is right. And to stand up there and tell me that, it's colossal. This is what this business needs. A man who can come into it, and when he sees mistakes being made, talks out about them. Yes, sir. It's colossal.
Why, it's the most terrible thing.
Who are you anyway? Didn't I sign you up for something?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Lewis with the school.
Oh, but that school isn't any good.
It is good.
Is it?
Why, certainly, just because you go around here turning things down and this
He
and that...
is right. Look here, I pretty nearly fired him. I did fire him. Doctor, I want you to do something for me.
What?
I want you to tear up your old contract.
I haven't got a contract.
Can you imagine, Doctor? From now on, I'm going to make you a supervisor in full charge over all the productions of the Glagauer studio.
All right.
When I have faith in man, skies are the limit. From now on, you are the boss of this whole business. You get it? What you say goes.
Well, what about Susan Walker? Say, she'd be marvelous in the talkies.
You hear this, Camerling? If the supervisor says so, she must be good.
Who is this girl?
Tell us about her.
Why, you met her. I've introduced her to her. The girl that's...
Oh, she's here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I remember. She might be able to do it. She's dumb enough. Let us see her.
Why, it don't take a minute. Hold this. I'll be right back.
There is the great man, Camerling.
Come on, Susan. Wait. Mr. Glagauer wants to see you. Here she is, Mr. Glagauer.
Boots, by Rudyard Kipling. Boots. Boots.
What is it, Boots? Wait a minute, not now. Let me see. Yes, she can do it. He's right.
Ja, wunderbar. I told you I was right.
Say, I love you.
I love you.
I hate you.
I hate you.
Ja, sie kann es tun. Now I'll show you how we handle this. We'll create a name for her. Yes, sir, a name. I've done it before, and I do it again.
Oh, Georgie.
Oh, Susan. Oh, May, Jerry, what do you think? I just been made a supervisor.
You
Huh? I told him about the Vitaphone.
You did what?
I'm a supervisor.
The one man. Tomorrow you are going to get your office with a full staff. That's the way we do things out here. No time wasted on thinking. I'll get you all the people you need. Anybody you want. All you got to do is to say so.
Well, I know who I want, Mr. Glagauer.
You hear that, Camerling? Already, you know. Wonderful. Isn't it? Well, name 'em.
Well, I want Miss Daniels and Mr. Highland.
Those people? You don't want those people. They are fired.
I know who I want, Mr. Glagauer.
Yeah, but I can get you Weiskopf and Mitterstein.
I want Miss Daniels and Mr. Highland.
And supposing I say no?
Well, then it's final, Mr. Glagauer. If I don't have Miss Daniels and Mr. Highland, I can't do a thing. And if I don't get them, well, I think I go home.
Oh, Georgie, you mustn't.
California, here we go.
No, Dr. Lewis. Now, you couldn't do that. You must stay, Doctor. A supervisor is always right. Miss Daniel and Mr. Highland. No, you don't have to go. You must stay right here. You are hired back again. Tomorrow, I'll give you your contract. I'll give you everything.
All right. Then I'll stay.
Fine. Well, Doctor, what would be your first official order?
Let me see. Yeah? I'd like to have the sign painter make up some signs.
On the door, Dr. Lewis?
No, with the boy carrying him around like he does for you. You know, Dr. Lewis is on number 8.
Get me the sign painter.
Get 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 the sign painter.
Cameling set, soundstage 12. Tell Miss Walker to come right over. We'll be ready for her.
Weber, get your camera lined up for the moving shot on the wedding scene. Pull it over a little. Come on, get it on the spinet. Okay. Pull that figure out a little. Okay. All right.
Oh, darling, you look too beautiful.
Yes, they want her on the set, Mrs. Walker.
Hey! I just came from Blackout, and he's tickled pink.
He must look lovely.
Well, the picture finished right on schedule, advanced in the opening date. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
Well, you don't seem to be very excited about it. Picture opening in 3 days, and it's going to be a knockout, too.
Oh, use a little common sense, Jerry. You've seen the rushes. What's the use of kidding yourself?
All right, everybody's wrong but you.
Well, I can't help what I see, can I? The lighting, for example. Those big scenes where you can't see anything, everybody in shadow. What about those?
Well, that's only a couple of scenes, you know that. George forgot to tell him to turn the lights on, and they thought he meant it that way. Nobody will ever notice it.
Yeah, well, I caught something new yesterday. That knocking that goes on. Did you get that?
Yeah, we're trying to find out about that. The sound engineers are working on it.
Don't you know what that was?
No, what?
That was George cracking his cockeyed Indian nuts. Yeah, nobody's going to notice that either, huh?
Oh,
that's just dandy.
Mr. Hart.
Yeah.
Hey. Huh? Here, you'll be looking for me.
Miss Cameling, I'm ready to be shot.
Fine, fine. We'll take the scene on the church steps.
The what?
The scene on the church steps.
Oh, but I don't think I know that scene.
Didn't Miss Daniels rehearse for you in it?
No, not that one.
Miss Daniels? Where is Miss Daniels?
Miss Daniels.
Well, Miss Daniels is calling for you on the set.
On my way. Well, does it seem to be some trouble here?
What about the church steps? We're ready to play the scene, and she says you didn't rehearse for her.
Now, Susan, I know your memory isn't very good, but I want you to think way back, pretty near 5 minutes ago. We were sitting in your dressing room, do you remember? We rehearsed that scene.
Oh, but that isn't the one he means.
Outside the church, is that right?
Yes, yes?
Oh, outside the church. Yeah, we did that. But you said the church steps.
That's right, that's right. Susan, we feel it's time you were told this. Outside the church and the church steps are really the same scene.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm. And practically all the churches now, they're putting the steps on the outside.
Oh, I see.
Are we then ready?
I doubt it. Now, Susan, you're sure you remember that scene as we just rehearsed it? You ascend 4 steps, then you turn and you wave to the onlookers below.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
No, you do not launch a battleship. You see, they'd have to have a lot of water for that.
All right. All right. Now we take.
All right, we're taken.
Everybody on the set,
But
please.
Dr. Lewis isn't here.
Oh, this is only the retake. He'll be here for the wedding ceremony.
Just a moment, Dr. Lewis. May I see you a moment, Doctor?
Dr. Lewis, it's very important I see you about
Doctor's
that
very
scenario.
busy. I'm sorry you'll have to wait.
Cut! Cut! Oh, Provier, it was a beautiful shot.
Ah, here comes Dr. Lewis.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
My stable man.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you feeling,
Yes,
Tom?
sir.
Well, Cameling, what have I done this morning?
We have taken the retakes of the church steps.
Hello, darling. Well, tell me, what have I got to decide?
There is only the last scene, the wedding ceremony.
That's the last scene to be taken?
That's all.
Well, we'll take that last scene.
Everybody in the set.
Everybody.
Dr. Lewis, I'm Miss Daniels. You met me in New York.
Hello,
This is Mr. Highland.
Hello, Jerry.
Are we then ready? Ready, Dr. Lewis?
Well, yes, Cameling, we'll start from where we left off.
Places, please. We're going to take the end of the wedding ceremony. Everybody take their places. Oh, Mr. Jackson, have you got that straight?
Oh, get this straight, Jackson. What? Yeah, what? About the ceremony. You understand that when she says, I do, you release the pigeons?
Oh, sure.
They are in that little cottage up there. When Miss Walker says, I do, you pull that ribbon and the pigeons will fly out.
They ain't gonna fly down on me again, are they?
No, they have been rehearsed.
Oh, yes, those pigeons know what to do. They played in the Seven Commandments.
Oh, yeah, I played a rabbi in that one.
That's all. Oh, say, I forgot. There aren't any pigeons.
What?
Well, they were up there so long, I felt sorry for them, so I took them down and sent them back to the man.
Well, what shall we do then?
Well, if we haven't any pigeons, we won't use them. That's what we'll do. We won't use the pigeons.
He certainly meets emergencies.
Oh, Georgie, is that all I say during the entire ceremony? Just, I do?
Is that all she says, May?
That's all.
That's all.
That's the part she knows, too.
But it seems so short.
Well, perhaps she could perform the ceremony. Then she could do all the talking.
Oh, no, that wouldn't fit in the scenario.
That wouldn't fit in the scenario.
Oh, that wouldn't fit in the scenario.
No.
Mr. Glocker is coming.
Morning, Mr. Morning.
Morning, Mr. Gordon.
Morning, Good morning, Mr. Glogauer. Well, how's the happy family? Everything is going on fine?
Right on schedule, Mr. Glogauer.
That's wonderful.
That's just what it is.
That's fine. Well, what's going on now?
Oh, we're just shooting the last scene.
That's fine. I congratulate everybody. The reason I came down, if you don't mind, I interrupt you for a second for a very special reason.
That's all right, Mr. Glogauer.
Mr. Glogauer's on number 12.
Tell them I'll look at foolish virgins at 2:15.
Mr. Glogauer will look at foolish virgins at 2:15.
I want everybody to stay here. I want everybody here. Attention, everybody. Attention.
Oh, yes, attention, everybody. Mr. Glogauer is probably going to say something.
17 years ago, boys and girls, when I went in the movie business, I made up my mind that it should be run like a business, as a business, for a business. And that's what I've been trying to do. But never, since I started to make Glogauer Super Jewels, has been a picture of mine finished exactly on the schedule. And what was the reason for that? Because now, for the first time, we've got with us a man who is able to make decisions, and to make them like that. Dr. George Lewis.
Oh, ladies and
Now, wait a
gentlemen,
minute. I ain't through yet. And so, in recognition of his remarkable achievement, I take a great pleasure in presenting him with a very small token of my regard, a solid gold dinner set, 106 pieces, and with his initials in diamonds on each piece. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Glogauer, well, this is the first time in my life that I've ever received a solid gold dinner set, and I hardly know what to say, because it's the first time in my life that I've ever received a solid gold dinner set, and really, I hardly know what to say. But I think it's wonderful, and now I think we ought to show Mr. Glogauer the finish of the picture and shoot the last scene.
All right. We'll look at it afterwards. Now, everybody take their places. Heat your light.
Okay, turn it over.
Okay.
Point. Speed. Cameron, G51, take one. Action! Ready, go.
Cyril Barnesdale, dost thou take this woman to be thy wedded wife, to live together in the holy state of matrimony? Dost thou promise before this sacred altar to love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, keep true only unto her, so long as ye both shall live?
I do.
Mildred Martin, dost thou take this man to be thy wedded husband? Dost thou promise to love him, obey him, and keep him in sickness and in health, so long as ye both shall live?
I do.
Forasmuch as these two have consented together in holy wedlock, and have witnessed the same before this company, and have given and pledged their troth, each to the other, I hereby pronounce them man and wife.
It was wonderful. How was it? Okay. How was the hotel? Okay.
There you are, Mr. Glogauer. Embrace, fade out, the end.
I see. Wait a minute. I didn't understand. What did you say?
I say embrace, fade out, the end.
The end? You mean you take this scene last, but it isn't really the end?
Oh, yeah, this is the end, isn't it?
Certainly it's the end. How can it be? What about the backstage scene?
What?
And the opening night where her mother is dying and she's got to act anyhow.
Oh, that's not in the script, Mr. Glogauer.
Why, no. Not in the script.
Oh.
I had 12 playwrights working on it.
Well, it's not in there.
Wait a minute. This is a picture about a little country girl
Yes, sir.
who gets a job in a Broadway cabaret.
Oh, no, there's no Broadway cabaret.
No Broadway cabaret?
No, this girl doesn't even get to New York.
Doesn't get to New York. You mean the cabaret owner doesn't make her go out with that bootlegger?
No, sir.
Well, then what happens to her? What does she do?
This is the rich woman that stops at the farmhouse and picks up this little girl and takes her to Florida and buys her all these clothes.
Wait a minute. There is no backstage scene anyplace?
Why, no, this little girl, she goes swimming. And she swims way out too far, and there's Cyril Fronsdale.
Let me see that script.
There it is. That's where she goes swimming.
Dr. Lewis. You know what you have done?
What?
You made the wrong picture.
What?
That's what you have done. You made the wrong picture.
Well,
Are you
sure, Mr. Glogauer?
Where did you get such a script?
It's the one you gave
I
me.
didn't give you such a script. She goes swimming. Swimming! Do you know who made that picture? Biograph in 1910. Florence and Maurice Costello. And even then it was no good.
Well, they were all here when we...
They were all here. Where were all your brains? Kamerling.
It is my fault. Dr. Lewis gave us the script right in his office.
Dr. Lewis. Doctor, we open on Wednesday, and we've got to open. After this, it goes to 400 exhibitors, and we've got written contracts, heaven help them. What are we going to do about this? Tell me, please.
Well, couldn't we release it as a special?
It's a special. Never in my life have I heard of such a thing. After this, I make a ruling. Every story we ever produce, somebody's got to read it. And do you know what it does to you, Miss Walker? You are through. Swimming. Your career is ruined. And you know whom you've got to thank for it? Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis, a fine supervisor you are. The business is in the hands of incompetency, he says. And what do? I give him everything the way he wants it. His own star, his own staff. Oh, yes. And where were you people while all this was going on?
Mr. Glogauer, I was on the cross stand. I had nothing to do with the script. Dr. Lewis was the one that had...
But Miss Daniels was here all the time, right with Dr. Lewis? What about this?
Yes, I was here.
Where were you going?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Glogauer, I thought it was just another super jewel.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I couldn't see any difference.
Oh, you couldn't?
While we're on the subject, just why is it all Dr. Lewis's fault?
Why is it his fault? Who made that picture? Who is else to blame?
Well, if I'm not too inquisitive, what do you do with yourself all the time? Play marbles?
What's that?
Where were you while all this was going on? Out to lunch?
I go to my office. That's all to it. I go to my office. And Mr. Supervisor, I make you a present of this.
Thank you.
And will you all please understand that nothing about this is to get out of the studio. That's official. Come on, Highland.
17 years in the business and it's so forced. It wasn't my fault. I didn't mean to make the wrong picture.
It's too bad, Miss Daniels.
Yeah, isn't it?
But after all, it's the movie business. It is just the same in Germany.
It is, huh?
Even worse, it is terrible over there. I think I go back.
May. Well, you fixed everything fine, didn't you? On top of everything, you had to go and get smart.
Well, you don't have to worry, do you, Jerry?
What?
You don't have to worry. You crawled out from under. You gave as pretty an exhibition as I've ever seen.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Just the way you stood up for George.
Well, somebody's got to keep their feet on the ground around here.
Yours are all right, aren't they, Jerry? Yeah. right deep in the soil of California.
I was trying to fix things up. That's what I was trying to do.
No, no, Jerry. It's been coming on you ever since we got out here. And now it's here. You've gone Hollywood, Jerry. And as far as I'm concerned, that's that. How'd you make out, Romeo?
Oh, she won't talk to me. She slammed the door right in my face and wouldn't talk to me. She just keeps on crying.
That's all right. Everything's all right. It is for me, anyway. Just fine and dandy.
Fine and dandy.
Just swell.
Gee, May, you know, Susan ought to know that I didn't do that on purpose. I tried to tell her and everything, but look at May. Do you think the picture's so bad?
Bad as what, George?
Bad as Mr. Glogauer thinks it is?
I think it's got a pretty good chance.
Chance of what?
Of being as bad as he thinks it is. Oh, look, George, just to keep the record straight, how did you come to make the wrong picture? Or don't you know?
Well, I've been trying to think. I remembered that I had a lot of scenarios lying around on my desk, and I picked up the right one, and all of a sudden I felt a draft on the back of my neck, so I went over to close the window, and when I came back, Well, gee, May, you know how hard it is for me to do two things at once.
So you did this.
You know, what I think must have happened...
Right here, right in here. Well, I thought this was taking a long time. You're late.
Executive office, no answer.
Here, wait a minute, here. Who else have you got? Camerling, wise cuff, meter stunt. Mm-hmm. Here. You want yours?
Does this mean we're fired, May?
We're good and fired.
Yeah.
Me too. Well, we've got a solid gold dinner set anyway. 106 pieces with your initials and diamonds on every piece. Well, anyway, George, you did have a solid gold dinner set, 106 pieces and your initials and diamonds on every piece.
Are you ready to have your birth made up?
No, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. I've been meaning to ask you, how come the two gentlemen ain't going back?
Well, that's a long story.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise me if you had at least one of them with you pretty soon.
Yes. We makes a 20-minute stop here. The westbound is late.
Probably overloaded with elocution teachers.
Yes.
Where are we?
Needles Point. That's where they have that sanitarium.
Is there a newsstand?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you see if they've got Wednesday's Los Angeles papers?
Yes, ma'am.
They got to be Wednesdays or we don't want them.
Yes.
538? Yes, sir. Right this way.
I'll get your papers right away. A gentleman just got on from the sanitarium.
Well, Mr. Vale.
Well, hello, Miss Daniels.
So you're the gentleman from the sanitarium.
That's right. Well, it's a good deal of a surprise.
Please sit down.
Thanks.
You certainly are the last person. Well, I haven't heard you were ill. Nothing serious, I hope.
Now, just a kind of breakdown. Underwork.
I can't quite picture that reception room without you.
Well, I heard about this place. Sanitarium here. Sounded pretty good, so I came out. A fellow named Jenkins runs it. Playwright. Seems he came out here to write scenarios, but he couldn't stand the sitting, went mad in the 8th month. So he started this place. Doesn't take anything but playwrights.
Good, eh?
Great. The first 3 days, they put you in a room without a chair in it. Then they have a big art gallery with life-size portraits of all the studio executives. You see, for an hour every day, you go in there and say whatever you want to any picture.
I see.
Now, what's all this about? Going home on a visit?
Well, going home.
Oh, something happened?
Did you ever meet Dr. Lewis?
Yes, I had quite a talk with Dr. Lewis.
Well, Dr. Lewis did something that nobody had ever done before. He reminded Mr. Glogauer about turning down the Vitaphone. That made him supervisor.
Oh, only supervisor.
Then there was Miss Susan Walker. Miss Walker is a young woman who has a chance of becoming the world's worst actress. A very good chance, I should say. Of course, she's young yet and getting worse right along.
I see.
With that to start with, the doctor cinched things by working from the wrong scenario. Oh, some little thing from 1910. The picture opened Tuesday. And how is your uncle, Mr. Vale?
My recollection of the 1910 pictures is that they weren't so bad.
They didn't have the doctor in those days.
Yeah.
Most of it you can't see because the doctor forgot to tell them to turn the lights on. And did you ever happen to hear about the doctor's bright particular weakness?
There's something else?
It's called Indian nuts. Oh, there must be one around here somewhere. Well, anyway, he eats them with sound. He kept cracking them right through the picture, and they recorded swell.
And that, I take it, decided you.
Well, that and other things.
Funny. I should think there'd be a great field out there for a man who could turn out the wrong picture.
Yes, if he could do it regularly. But sooner or later, Dr. Lewis would make the right one and spoil everything.
Not the doctor.
Maybe you're right.
Here's your paper, Miss Daniels.
Oh, thanks.
A pillow for you, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, I guess these have got the notices in them.
You're a pretty brave girl, actually sending out for these.
Well, I might as well know the worst.
Here it is, I guess. Gingham and Orchid. That's the name of it?
That's it.
All talking, all singing.
All rotten picture.
Guess that must be what they mean by 100%. What is it? Never in the history of Hollywood has so tumultuous an ovation.
No, down there.
Herman Glogauer's Gingham and Orchids is a welcome relief from the avalanche of backstage pictures. It marks a turning point in the motion picture industry. A return to the sweet simplicity and tender wistfulness of yesteryear.
It does say that.
Don't take my word for it.
A new star twinkled across the sin in the heavens last night. In the scene on the church steps where she waved to the onlookers below, her hands revealed a positively Doozer-like quality. Well, I'll tell you about that sometime.
I'll be there.
Then, too, the lighting of the picture is superb. Dr. Lewis has wisely seen the value of leaving the climax to the imagination of the audience. In the big scenes, almost nothing was visible. Well, I'm afraid I haven't strength enough to reach for that one.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I don't suppose the whole thing could be a typographical error, could it?
Well, I want you to settle yourself for this.
I'm ready.
Put the pillow right back of you.
All right. I've learned the value of pillows.
In the opening sequences, the audience was puzzled by a constant knocking. And it seemed to many of us that something might be wrong with the sound apparatus. Then suddenly we realized that what was being done is what Eugene O'Neill did with the constant beating of the tom-tom in the Emperor Jones. It was the beat of the hail on the roof. It is another of the masterly touches brought to the picture by that new genius of the films, Dr. George Lewis.
I hear the ball weevil is getting into the cotton crop again.
Telegram to you, Miss Daniels. I just received it from the station.
Well, my guess is that this is from that new genius of the films.
I wouldn't wonder.
The picture is colossal. It has put the movies back where they were 10 years ago. I am the Wonder Man of the talkies. They keep coming at me to decide things. Please take next train back. Jerry is gone. And I am all alone here. They have made me an elk, and Susan is an eastern star. Please take next train back. I need you. Where is Jerry? I am also a Shriner.
Well, and what are you going to do about that?
Jerry is gone, and I am all alone here. Well, that looks as if I'm going back.
Yes, I think you have to.
Because if George is all alone out there, and then there's another thing. Now that George owns Hollywood, there are 2 or 3 reforms that I'd like to put into effect. Say, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to get all those page boys together, and I'm going to take their signs away from them, and nobody's going to know where anybody is. And I'm going to take Miss Layton out of that reception room.
Put cushions on those chairs.
Make her ask for an appointment to get back in.
Great.
As far as my plans for Mr. Glogauer are concerned, I want to say that the coming year is going to be a Glogauer year.
Right.
And by the time that all my plans have taken effect, well, the legitimate stage had better look to its laurels.
They're waiting for you on number 8, Dr. Lewis.
Dr. Lewis on number 8 at 320.
Right. Dr. Lewis, would you kindly turn your head this way?
Oh, yes.
Dr. Lewis, we were up to Chapter 7, September 1910.
My biography. Yes, I was still living in Medallion. Of course, I was just a mere boy then. And all of a sudden one day, an idea struck me. So I became an usher.
Dr. Lewis, how about a statement from Miss Walker?
Miss Walker? Oh, well, she's up in San Francisco making personal appearances. But, of course, I expect her back most any minute.
Time's up, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
Well, can we see him later? Can I have 1 minute, please?
Doctor, no free time this month. All has to be held in writing.
Oh, pardon me. Where were we, neighbor?
Oh, you decided to become an usher.
Oh, yes. Well, I was an usher, see? And later on, mind you, they gave me full charge of the last 2 rows in the mezzanine.
Hello, Georgie.
Susan!
Doctor, you're due on stage 8 in 20 minutes.
Okay.
The doctor will start on chapter 8, Tuesday at 12:15.
Well, haven't you got a little gift for Georgie or something?
Oh, Georgie, that man.
Say, would you mind going out for about 5 minutes?
Mais oui, monsieur, avec plaisir.
Well, no, you won't have to go that far. Skippy, you take him out, will you, so he won't get lost? He's just a stranger here. Well, can I do it now? Gee, how was your appearance, Susan?
Oh, it was wonderful, Georgie. Thousands of lights, thousands of people, and my name over everything. Oh, it was most extraordinary.
Oh, gee, everything's been wonderful here, too. Goodness, I'm up to my 8th chapter in my biography, and I'm having my portrait painted, and, oh, I've got a surprise for you.
What is it, Georgie? Tell me quick.
It's an airplane.
Georgie!
Yeah, I got it for nothing for buying just a few of them for Mr. Glogau.
Oh, how wonderful, Georgie. Just what we needed.
Isn't that marvelous? I was only going to buy a couple at first, see, but the man kept on talking, and it turned out that if I bought a few more, well, I got one free.
How clever of you, Georgie. Isn't everything wonderful,
Oh,
George?
it sure is. But, gee, you know, I wish May and Jerry would get here because they used to seem to know just what to do when things come up. You know, we've always been together, and, well, this is the first time in years that I haven't been together.
What's the matter, sir? What's the matter? What are you trying to do here, blacking up my entrance like that?
Oh, shut up. What do you expect me to do? Play leapfrog over those trucks ahead?
Wait a minute, never mind that fresh business. What are you trying to do here anyway?
Delivering 460 airplanes.
Airplanes? We don't want no airplanes.
Well, you're going to get them. Inside or on the sidewalk. I got orders to deliver them right here.
Who ordered them?
A guy named Dr. George Lewis.
Dr. George Lewis.
Yeah, do you want to sign for him?
No!
Did you see my picture? Look. It lights up.
Oh, isn't that...
Where is Dr. Lewis?
Hello, he's in his office. Oh.
See?
Dr. Lewis, did you order 460 airplanes?
Huh?
460 airplanes have just arrived in front of the studio, and they told me you have ordered them.
Well, don't you believe in aviation, Mr. Glogauer?
The question is, Dr. Lewis, why did you buy 460 airplanes?
Mr. Glogau, Mr. Meterstein says another 100 airplanes just arrived, and there are more coming every minute. They're flying them over. They ran out of trucks.
What?
Yes, that's right. They ran out of trucks. Oh.
Dr. Lewis, you bought all of those?
Mr. Meterstein says the order calls for 2,000.
What? 2,000? 2,000? Dr. Lewis, is this the truth? Can such a thing be positively?
Well, the man from the...
2,000? 2,000? Tell everybody I want to see the rights in my office. Where is Meterstein? Where is Wyckoff?
Mr. Meterstein, Mr. Wyckoff.
Dr. Lewis. 2,000 airplanes. 17 years. Never in my life.
Well, I don't know why Mr. Glogauer is so mad. All I did was just buy a few airplanes.
Oh, George. Is that all they do? Just light up? No fireworks?
Oh, you mean the picture? Aren't they lovely? Mr. Glogau had them put all over the building the day after the picture opened. Oh, when Dr. Lewis came to the studio, everything just lit up.
Mr. Glogauer, too?
How's that?
Never mind.
Oh.
May. Well, if it isn't Dr. Lewis.
Gee, but I'm glad to see you. Did you get my telegram? I wired you.
Where's Jerry, George?
I don't know. Isn't he with you?
No.
Gee, I thought he was. So, you know, right after you left, he had a big fight with Mr. Glogauer, and he said some awful thing. And did Mr. Glogauer burn?
No, wait a minute, George. You mean Jerry got fired?
He didn't even get a letter. Say, listen, mate. Gee, the most terrible thing has happened. I went out and bought a lot of aeroplanes.
Where would he be likely to go, George? What did he say when he left here?
He didn't say anything. He just said that he was going to find you and nothing else mattered.
Oh, he didn't say anything, eh?
No.
Just that.
But he'll be back. But listen, May, help me out.
What am I going to do with all these aeroplanes?
Jerry!
There he is, May.
May, you've got to listen to me. You were right. I knew you were right the minute I walked off the set, and I went straight up to Glogauer and told him so.
I told her all about it, Jerry.
So the answer is, here I am.
There he is. Well, we're all together again.
Are we together, May? What about it, May? Are we together?
What do you mean leaving George alone here?
Well, I wasn't going to stay here without you.
Why didn't you come after me?
I did.
All right, then.
Yeah, we're all together again.
Oh, what is it, kid? What's the matter?
Why, May.
I'm all right, gentlemen. The little lady have a moment, can't you? I guess it's just that we're together again. Been so long.
May, I'll never forgive myself.
Oh, don't, Jerry. Gee, you make me feel like a second-act climax. Well, it's the Army with banners from now on, no matter what happens. George is the biggest man in Hollywood, and we're riding the high wave.
No, we're not, May. Mr. Glogauer is awful sore at me. I bought 2,000 airplanes.
You did what?
I bought 2,000 airplanes. What for? Well, I don't know. I guess the guy was a good salesman.
Now, let me get this straight. You bought 2,000 aeroplanes
Uh-huh.
for Mr. Glogauer?
Yeah, I got one free.
What a man. What a man.
Well, can't we do something? There must be some use for 2,000 airplanes.
Sure, make applesauce.
And you can't like that, May. It's all over the shopping.
George, why did you ever do it? Well, I guess if somebody offered you an airplane free, you'd...
Dr. Lewis, you've done it again, Doctor!
Georgie!
Doctor, we've done it again. Doctor, what a man you are. What a man you are.
What is this?
Mr. Hyde, Miss Daniels, did you hear what the doctor did? He went out and bought 2,000 airplanes. Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
The trend is changing, Miss Daniels. They've just been phoning me. Everybody wants to make airplane pictures, and they cannot make it because Doctor bought up all the airplanes. Every company is phoning me, offering any amount.
Yes, I thought they would.
Isn't it wonderful?
So, Doctor, you saw the trend coming. You saw the trend.
Saw it. He is the trend.
You don't realize the kind of a man you have here, Mr. Glogauer.
Yes, sir, I do. So, Doctor, that's the way you work, eh? First, you make believe that you make something wrong, and then...
George, you don't need us.
I should say
You
not.
just go ahead and be yourself.
Oh, Mr. Glogauer, there's something we got to take up here.
What is it?
Well, look, my picture don't light.
Fix it, time! Turmeric! Fix it! Fix it! Everybody, fix it! Doctor, you're not angry. Now, no, please, Doctor, tell me that you are not angry.
Gee, May, what do you think about it?
Well, Dr. Lewis, I'm afraid you've arrived.
But I didn't go anywhere.
All right, George.
It's an earthquake! What the swilling? What is it?
Stage 10. I just had it blown up.
I knew it was all a dream.
You blew it up?
Well, yes, sir. Don't you see, you have to tear down all these silent stages to make room for your soundproof stages. So I figured it would take 80 men, 27 days to tear them all down. Whereas it would only take one man just 2 minutes to blow up number 10.
It's colossal! What a man! What a man! What are you waiting for? Go ahead. Blow them over. All the silent stages. And get your camera set up so we can use the shot in our picture. March now.
You know, Major, you and Jerry could write a story like that, and we'll make Susan the Red Cross version.
What a genius. What a mind.
He's gorgeous.
Oh, Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis.